When someone walks on the street, these are the words of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. When someone walks on the streets and he thinks words of Mishnah or Torah, Tanya, or he says the words, there's not everywhere is it permissible to say the words of Torah, dirty pleasure. Or he sits in a store with a Chumash or a Tehillim. This is more valued today than it was when the streets were bright with the light of Torah. We should not go into the street with an empty heart. In other words, we should not go on the street just thinking about worldly things. You have to have some Torah memorized to take with us into the street. That's the first udder. There are some years where there are two udders, and this year there's only one, but there's two HaYom Yoms. The intense longing to be bound closely to a Rebbe can be satisfied only by learning the Maimarim of Chassidut, which the Rebbe says as discourses and is written down. Seeing the Rebbe is not enough. A Rebbe is a totally different type of human being. A Rebbe is like Moses. Without Moses, the Jewish people would have never left Egypt, and they would have been happy where they were. They wouldn't have received the Torah. They wouldn't have met all the different difficulties and challenges that they had in the desert. Moshe inspires everybody. If it wasn't for Mordechai, the Jewish people wouldn't have had the fortitude to stand against Haman's decree. They would have said, okay, you know what, I'm not Jewish, and saved themselves. Mordechai and Moses basically make the Jewish people crazy. They make the Jewish people crazy for God, to do what God wants. And all the Rebbes of Chabad are like that. They are the Moses, they are the Mordechai, they are the Mashiach of their generation. Totally different people. You want to be connected to the Rebbe, the way to do it is to learn the writings, what he writes, Chassidut. The writings, that's the inside essence of what the Rebbe is. And even though it sometimes talks about different topics that don't seem to have anything to do with practical day-to-day life, it talks about Atzilut and these different levels, but that's what's going on in the Rebbe's mind, which is what connects the Rebbe to God and which connects the Rebbe to us. The whole purpose of the Rebbe is like Moses, to connect God to the Jewish people and eventually to the whole world. Mashiach will do it to the whole world. So the only way you can really be connected to a Rebbe is by learning his Chassidut. Just seeing him is not enough. Learning what he says. Okay, now, so it's there's all these videos of the Rebbe, which are really wonderful. It's really inspiring, but it's not as effective as learning what the Rebbe says. That's what we're doing in the morning. That's why we're learning these things. That's why we're learning. We should be connected to the godliness that Rebbe wants to pervade to the whole world. Now let's do a story. This week has